On this week's episode, The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima release dates are revealed. Plus, was The Last of Us 2 spoilers an inside job? Also, the newest Assassin's Creed has Vikings! And we ask, are Fortnite concerts the way of the future? Stick around and find out. Greetings and welcome to episode 5 of the Nonsensory podcast. If you aren't already, you can subscribe to us on podcast services, iTunes, and Spotify, as well as our YouTube channel. Just search Nonsensory. You can also follow us on Twitter at Nonsensory1 and Facebook at Nonsensory Podcast. Hey, how you doing, Evan?
Oh, you're here? When did you get here? I'm sorry, I've had a lot of beer, and I'm very full. I'm good, Joe. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We just, we're recording much later than we normally do.
But it was worth it because we ate the most ridiculous hot pot. Not hot pocket, hot pot. And it's fantastic. And I'm very interested to see whatever eldritch abomination that it shoots out of the back of me looks like after we're all done with this. But yeah, I'm sufficiently full and ready to kick things off, man.
We got a very high quality beer of
The
nondescript beer.
Yeah. I mean, we could shout it out. It's Trogs.
We won't say which one specifically, but
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Episode 5.
Cheers, episode 5, sir. All right.
So what have you been getting into?
So based on our conversation last week where we talked a lot of movies, I wanted to watch a couple of movies so that I could, talk about them. And so we talked about Venom last week because it was getting a sequel. And I don't know. I just really wanted to watch Venom. I really like Tom Hardy, and I like the character of Venom. So I was like, why haven't I watched this movie? So I went out and I rented it on Amazon, and I watched it. And I have to say it was pretty damn good.
So actually you stayed in and you rented it.
No, I went out. And I went out to Amazon. I visited Amazon and was like, guys, I need this movie. And I don't know. It was just some guy. He was like in a really rough, cut up jeans and stuff. He wasn't actually in the Amazon building. He was outside. He had a bucket. It said Teeps. No, but yeah, I rented it. It was good.
I still have not yet seen it. So.
I would recommend it. It's not the best movie of all time or whatever, but it's entertaining.
Is it at least on par with the original Spider-Mans?
See, I don't know because I like the original Spider-Mans more than you.
No, I would say I like them. I just don't. I think they could be better.
I would say it's on par.
Okay.
I watch this. Some things are just patently ridiculous, but it was still entertaining. And I would like Tom Hardy, so it kind of carries the movie very well. And I also watched Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge.
Okay, so we talk during the week. Obviously, I mean we're friends outside of the podcast.
Yes,
obviously.
Yes. I found Joe on Fiverr or Fever or whatever.
I actually got you messaged me and said you watched this movie and you said that it was bat bleep was your wording.
Yeah, it was nothing but guano. It was so.
Well, I went and I looked at the trailer after
yeah.
you sent me that message, and I was like, well, no, I just read a bunch of reviews, and then I watched the trailer, and all the reviews are it's gory, and I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, I expect that from Mortal Kombat.
It would be really weird if it was a Mortal Kombat movie and it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
I will say it's really weird because if anybody, they still make movies. DC still makes movies like this, or animated stuff, where they have the very angled, art style and stuff. If you watch
old school,
the old Batman animated cartoons, the old Superman cartoons or whatever, it looks very much that way. And I'm pretty sure that DC Animation is the ones that did it.
It's very traditionally animated.
Yeah. It's it's not hyper detailed or anything, but it is it's really weird to see kids show animation juxtaposed over the most
have you not
graphic violence.
Have you not ever seen Happy Tree Friends?
Well, yeah, I have, but that's a joke. This was I guess this is kind of a joke. It is Mortal Kombat. It's very self-aware. I will say that, but it was actually
pretty good. The thing is, watching the trailer, it doesn't. I don't think the trailer sells it. I didn't watch it, but I don't think they did a good job of showing what it's supposed to be.
What do you mean? What's it supposed to be?
Well, what? Okay, you tell me. You actually saw the movie. Do you think the trailer actually like sold you on the movie, or why'd you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it because of the trailer. I watched it because I read a review of it, and it was like, "This is awesome. You should watch it." And I was like, "Okay," and then I watched it. But, again, it's really hard for me to get over the fact that like I'm watching animation that looks like stuff that I watched as a kid, and within the first like 30 seconds, there's just people like getting disemboweled and like cut into tiny pieces and stuff. It's ridiculous. So the entire time I'm watching it, I'm like, that's just in my head the entire time. Like, I don't know. It's not supposed to be taken seriously, but I could not take it seriously at all. And so they try to make, as you can probably tell, because it's called Scorpion's Revenge, like Scorpion's like more the main character of this.
Is he supposed to be like a good guy now?
He's not a good guy, but they give him a backstory that makes him sympathetic. Where like,
okay,
it happens in like the first 5 minutes of the movie, so I'm not worried about spoiling it. But his family gets killed, very brutally, and basically Sub-Zero is the one that does it, or like people that Sub-Zero has people that he's in charge of that do it for him, or whatever. And then Scorpion vows revenge, and he gets killed, and then he comes back to avenge his family, and that's why it's Scorpion's Revenge or whatever. And it all takes place within the Mortal Kombat tournament kind of thing.
Right.
And there's a lot of characters from the show, or not from the show, from the games that people will recognize and stuff. Some of them get like short shrift where they just like get completely owned real quick. But that happens when you're playing the game. Well, right, yeah. I mean, there's no way not to have it happen. Every fight is Mortal Kombat. Like, somebody's going to die in every fight. So, like, not everybody that you liked in the games is going to, survive to the end.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend it. I can recommend it as a thing to, like, just, like, look at.
Right.
But that's all I've been doing. So, what about you, Joe?
Well, just as a quick note, I've already said I'm not into the super gory, so I already know it's not my thing.
Right.
But if you like Mortal Kombat, then you would say check it out.
Yeah, I would say check it out. I'm not into super gory stuff either. I'm just into more like good animation.
Yeah, I can appreciate
and this doesn't
animation.
deliver that either. Like it's pretty simple. I don't know. Have you ever seen Samurai X?
No, not Samurai X.
Okay, well, if you've ever seen like an anime that does violence but also just like looks really good,
Afro Samurai,
yeah, something like that.
Samurai Jack,
yeah.
Samurai Jack is like simplistic, but the story and everything like carries it.
Yeah.
Or, oh my goodness, I was gonna do another one with the samurai in the title, or no,
Seven Samurai.
No.
No.
Give me 1 second. 1 second. I had it. And then it just... Oh, it's like super good. Ninja Scroll.
Oh, Ninja Scroll. Yeah. Yeah, so like if... I appreciate stuff like that, where like it has gore, but it's not happening the entire time. It's not the focus of the thing. They're not trying to pump it in there as much as possible.
There's just some stuff.
Yeah.
It's not gore porn.
Right. Yeah. This is more. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. This is more gore porn, I would say. Like the story's like simple. It's like it looks like a kid's show, and the plot is basically as complex as a kid's show too, but it's just like pumped full of gore.
Okay. Well, that just tells me everything I need to know. It's not for me.
Again, I wouldn't recommend it. I just watched it because I knew it would be ridiculous, and it was, and that's all I needed.
Okay. So I have been rewatching Devs, and we have a special about to come out sometime this week.
Yes.
Where we talk about Devs and we talk about wanting to rewatch it. And I will say we were right. It is worth rewatching. I don't think I'm going to go the whole way through. and we're not going to bring it up again because I think we've beaten that horse to death.
That horse is glue now.
Yeah,
We completely smashed it.
but it is worth it. I've so many subtle things that you just don't notice until you watch again. People's faces and expressions, those little. If you are into those little tiny things, it's so worth it.
How do you feel about our first Warzone win? Yeah.
Our first Warzone win?
Our first Warzone win.
No. Because the first time I ever played Warzone with you, we did 2 matches in a row. The second match we won, and then we jumped on and recorded.
Yeah. Well, I know, but I mean, how did you feel about that win?
Oh, why do you ask?
Just because, like, it's different when you like play the game and then you win and then you keep playing afterwards.
Well, I'm nowhere near as hyped because that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, it was like earlier this week, wasn't it? No, it was last week. Either way, it's not important.
Okay. Well,
I just know that like we usually go on to like what we're playing, and I'm still stuck on Warzone. So
all right, well, before we get into what we're playing, I've set my mind to rewatching. So we were talking about this, but it wasn't part of the show. So
yes.
Whenever Better Call Saul ends, I am setting my mind to watching the whole way through, from the beginning of Better Call Saul all the way through to the end of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And just watching it as if it's all one series.
Oh, that's going to take a while.
That being said, I did just find out that we can watch season 5 if we hop on to a German server on my VPN.
Beautiful.
So we are doing that.
The Germans finally giving back for everything they've taken.
And I have to just shout out my buddy Stubbs. He turned me on to a show, Altered Carbon, which I know you've heard of. Your wife watched it. He described the setting of this universe, and I was just like, okay, you've sold me. I'm going to watch it. So that is in my that's in my homework.
Okay.
So maybe if you haven't seen it yet,
I have not.
Maybe we'll bring that up next week.
Yeah.
We'll make that homework. We don't have to finish it, but maybe just get into it and some thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Warzone is still my drug of choice.
Do you snort it? Do you smoke it? Like
I sneak it everywhere I possibly can.
I bake it into cookies and just eat them. It's great. It's a slow release. It's great.
I've barely touched Final Fantasy VII. I got to the Airbuster, which if you're familiar with the original, that's no spoiler. That thing is the first thing that has presented me an actual challenge. I've died to it 3 times. And that's all I've played of the game. I died to it 3 times and I was like, screw this, I'm going to go play Warzone.
At least with Warzone, you can just keep queuing up.
Exactly. So what have you been, I guess you've just been playing Warzone or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I feel bad because like I should play more things, but then this always happens where there's like a multiplayer focused game that comes out that I just get super immersed in, and it's like all I want to play. And it really helps that all my friends are kind of available to play it now.
It makes complete sense. And I don't blame you. I mean, it's rough that I shouldn't say it's rough. I mean, we're fortunate that like playing games is something that we can talk about as part of our second jobs. But like it is really difficult because we don't exactly make anything at this yet.
Yeah.
So we can't just drop money and no one's sending us codes for anything.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe someday we'll get there. I don't know. But there's still so much stuff that I have to play yet that like, it's fine. I'll still need to go back and play Jedi.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm interested to, puke up some thoughts on it.
Jedi is good.
Yeah. Have you beaten it?
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll wait to talk about that.
All right. I'll be interested to see what you think of it.
I might replay it just so we can talk about
it.
Okay. But RE2 is still something I'm going to jump into. Have you played RE3?
No.
No?
I haven't played it, mostly because I heard that it's very short. And so for my $60, I don't really want to play a 5-hour game.
Are they actually charging $60 for
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Oh man, no,
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
I know. I was really excited about it, and then I found out that it's only like 6 hours and 5 or 6 hours, and it's $60. And I was.
And then so many reviews are saying it's like disappointing.
Yeah, well, the first RE2 didn't really have a really long campaign either, but it gave you the option to play as Claire. And so, then you could play through it again, sort of. I mean, a lot of the stuff stays the same, but you see stuff from different perspectives or whatever. It gave you a reason to go back and try to play it again. So, like, it became a 12-hour game if you played it twice.
Oh, so it was like 6 hours too.
Yeah, it wasn't very long either, but, I don't know. I didn't know that going in, and so I looked with this one and saw that it was relatively short.
But the thing there is that RE2, everyone agrees, was actually a fantastic game.
Yeah.
And if at least they could say that much for RE3, then it would be like, well, maybe.
Right, yeah.
But
I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I'll wait till it goes on sale or something,
Yeah, when it comes down to 30, I'm on board.
Okay. So the first thing we have to talk about today is the new Assassin's Creed, which just got announced. So it's really weird. Ubisoft first started by doing a strange setting reveal, which is something that I've never seen anybody actually do it like this, and I thought it was really cool. So I'll kick it over to Joe, and he can read you a little bit about the article that we have for you.
This is in an article from PC Gamer. The next Cheers. The next Assassin's Creed game will be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. All we've got at this point is a nice image courtesy of Boss Logic. Now, this isn't true because this is since then the trailer has come out.
Right.
So actually, I'm not going to bother reading too much of this because this was pre-trailer.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to get into it too much.
No. We can just kind of. So they did a Reddit AMA.
Yeah. Oh, and is this the one where they did this?
Yeah, they did a Reddit AMA, and they hired this guy named Boss Logic, who does digital art and stuff like that, I think. And he basically did like an 8-hour.
Why did I think that was Last of Us and not this?
I don't know. But it was.
I got them mixed up somewhere in my mind.
That's okay. So they did the AMA, and for 8 hours, they just had a stream up of this guy making this piece of art. And it was really cool to actually. I mean, I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't realize it was going to be like an 8-hour long thing, right? And so they had him do. They had him in, I think it was Photoshop or one of the programs, Illustrator or something. And he just did this from scratch over the course of 8 hours, which I imagine was like really grueling to do.
Yeah,
but
nonstop.
It was basically like them revealing the next setting and all that stuff. They didn't give it like a title or whatever. But I thought it was really cool. I've never seen anything like that happen before, where they didn't say anything about it before it was happening. They just we're going to do an AMA, and then they just dropped it on people. And I think it kind of helped people to start talking about it.
What was the subject of the AMA?
I think it was just like just
an about AMA Assassin's Creed
about Assassin's Creed, and then they just hey, we're going to do this, and then they started doing it, and people were like watching it as it was going on, but obviously it was like 8 hours long, so not I doubt everybody made it through the whole thing or whatever, but and there are like sped up time lapse versions of it and stuff, but
yeah, those might be worth watching.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
not sticking around for 8 hours, but so Assassin's Creed. Bottom line, Assassin's Creed. The next installment is going to be Vikings, which obviously with Vikings you're going to have a lot of sea warfare, which I loved in Black Flag, and then I guess they did it again in. Was it Unity? They did it again?
No, I think they did it in Odyssey.
Odyssey, okay. I didn't play that one, but all the ship controls, the way everything worked, just Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I could have done the sailing parts of that game
As
the whole game.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. So I kind of look forward to that. Hopefully they incorporate a lot of that into it again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that story-wise, it seems like they're trying to paint a different picture of the Vikings than we know of historically.
Yeah. So they tell, like, the trailer that they put out after the whole live stream. They did the live stream of the concept art, and then after that there was immediately a trailer that kind of revealed the name and showed like a big CGI trailer of it, and a lot of it is narrated by I assume some sort of like English general, basically saying like how awful the Vikings are and how they need to exterminate them. And then throughout the trailer, they're showing like the Vikings be like these, this communal, like caring about each other, not destroying every village that they come across and stuff.
It's like the one part is like they they murder indiscriminately, and like the guy's like charging around the corner and he's about to swing, and like a woman and her kids are like, "Oh no, don't kill us!" And the guy stops him. He's like, "Let him go."
Yeah.
And they run by, and I'm like, "Okay, all right."
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. They're definitely doing it for like narrative purposes, to like make you want to root for the people that you're playing as.
Right.
But
which you said something interesting earlier when we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you.
Yes, I did, Joe. Tell me what I said.
That it would actually be interesting to play as the despicable character.
Yeah, I think it would. I mean, I think that you could think of more interesting story beats and gameplay things if you were the bad guy versus always needing to be, just, good and needing to justify the violence that's in the game and stuff. Right. You could just be a bad dude and you just commit violence because that's what happens because you're bad, but
I actually think pulling off of that, it would be interesting if someone would take you through and make the character do bad things. Not make you okay with doing bad things.
Right.
But kind of take you on a journey through seeing how you can turn from a good character, make you fall in love with this character, make you, and then go, uh-oh, what's happening? And just start slowly turning you over and showing...
No, don't smash that puppy.
just slowly take you on a ride to show you how you can justify evil, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's how it happens in real life. Every person out there that you, even no matter how evil they are,
mm-hmm.
in their own mind they're justified and can be the sympathetic character. Why not show how that happens in a story? It would be compelling.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. So we already talked a bit about how this one is going to be, you're basically set in like the Norse, the Norse area. Is it? I don't know. But
England.
Yeah. So you're leading your Vikings. You're basically a Viking raider out of Norway and into the kingdoms of England. I guess this one is being developed by the same people that made Black Flag. So that's pretty interesting that
would be good.
And I hope that they're able to make the ship combat as good as you remember it. And I also think what's really cool is like not only are they doing the ship combat, but they're letting you like build settlements. And
that's interesting. Like kind of like Civs.
Kind of like Civ. More, I think more along the lines of something like Fallout 4.
Okay.
Where you basically like had to cultivate your own community, and you can like build different kinds of buildings, and when you build the buildings, they all have like a certain function that you kind of it kind of feeds into itself, where you get perks from building those things that you can use for taking out into missions and stuff.
Assassin's Creed 2 had that.
Really? I didn't play Assassin's Creed 2, no.
You had, what would you call it? A villa or like a mansion?
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to remember. Like, But as you upgraded that, you could upgrade your shops, and it's been a while, so I don't remember exactly how it worked. But yeah, there was benefits to as you built things up, and then you'd get little perks like getting so much. Things would be cheaper at certain stalls, or armor bonuses, things like that.
So it seems like the most recent thing that I've played that sounds like that this kind of sounds similar to is Red Dead 2, where you would go out and complete missions, get money, bring it back, upgrade your camp, and then you'd get certain things for your camp, like and also like if you had a good moral rating, you would get like cheaper prices at like shops and stuff.
So that's a game that's actually encouraging you to be good.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like that's how they encourage you to be the good guy, is that like you'll get discounts and stuff like that at shops if you are morally good in those games. But you could go back to your camp and upgrade like the the provision stockpile so that whenever you went to go on missions, you'd have stuff to gather. And they kind of worked it in so that the conversations that the people would have with you at the camp would dynamically change depending on like the order of things that you had, like the stuff that you got and how often you donated stuff. So I'd be really interested to see what they do, because it didn't feel super fleshed out in Red Dead 2. So I'd like to see it feel a little more fleshed out in a different game. And I feel like this would be a really interesting way to do it, where, you're like the leader of this big band of Viking warriors and stuff. Yeah. I just think it would be really cool.
I definitely, if the trailer's anything to go by, I don't think this game will disappoint. It looks so good.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic. So as far as the story, it says Ivar's journey will take them and their Viking community from Norway across the North Sea to the four kingdoms of England. While all those territories will be explorable in some fashion in Valhalla, Ismail indicated that there are some surprises in store. You can actually quite dynamically go back to Norway anytime you want, and Norway is quite breathtaking. We have the four kingdoms within England: Wessex, Northumbria, East Anglia, Mercia. It's quite a large chunk of England, he said. There are other surprises that I won't spoil, but our ambition has been to deliver the Viking experience, the Viking fantasy within the Assassin's Creed world.
That's in an article from IGN.
Yes.
I don't think that I had that one.
No. Oh, it should be in the doc. Either way. So I think that's really cool too, that you can just go back to, once you've made the trip to England, you're not just stuck there. You can actually go back. And I wonder what they'll do with that. Like, if you're able to build settlements, can you only build them in England? Can you build them back in Norway? Or like, what do you do when you go back to Norway? I wonder if it's like the story takes you back there, or if you can go back there at any time during the game.
If they're trying it, this is supposed to be a little more open world, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The last two, Origins and Odyssey, have both been open world, like big open world RPGs.
Yeah. So I imagine the Vikings, they weren't much for building the settlements, though. It's more like you go in, you raid, and then you go back to where you were. You're not really trying to spread.
Yeah, I suppose maybe that's where you'll build your settlement back in Norway.
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder if you're actually like going out trying to conquer England, or if you're just like going out there to like steal, pillage and stuff like that. I don't know.
I have to go back and read The Last Kingdom again before I play this game. Shall we move on?
Yeah, sure. Let's.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I think that's really cool is that this has already been confirmed as an Xbox One X or Xbox Series X and PS5.
See the problem with those titles?
No, it's really annoying.
Yeah. Okay.
I always say Xbox One X, and I mean to say Series X. It's come on, guys, really. But I'm really interested to see how this game turns out on the next gen consoles, and to see if it's going to be like how much of a leap we can expect. Because it's nice to be able to see
from going from the images we were looking at earlier.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, it looks insane. I can't. So, like, when we moved from PS3 to PS4 and they ported The Last of Us over,
Yeah.
like, you could definitely see the difference.
Oh, yeah.
But also, if you look at something like Uncharted 4, which was straight developed specifically for the next gen consoles, it's like even better. It's like really, really advanced over even The Last of Us remastered for PS4.
And The Last of Us 4 was actually pretty early on in the PS4 days. Later end PS4 days look even better than that.
Well, right. I'm interested to see, like, well, it's cool that we'll have like the side by side of like, okay, this is the same game running on this generation and that generation. But I know that even though it will be improved for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, it'll still be kind of tied back down to, the older generation of consoles. It won't take full advantage, I don't think.
This one won't.
No, I don't think so. I think there'll be an initial run of a bunch of games that go cross-gen, but once we get past that certain area, we'll blow past it, and it's just going to be even crazier.
I don't mean to quote any other podcasts out there, but someone said something that I absolutely have to agree with. I won't say who, but they said the first person that decides that they're going to go just exclusively next gen is going to get crapped on, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't, like, personally, if I was going out and buying a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, I would want them to take it full advantage of it,
Yeah.
I really think that the only people that would be upset are people that have the old consoles.
Well, I think...
And at some point you have to go, all right, at some point you're holding on to this old thing instead of, more than what is reasonable, I think, Like, if they've launched a new thing, then we're moving on.
But that's where we get back into the argument. Like, every other leap, and I know we already said we have to see where this one goes, like how much of an improvement there is, but every other step through time that we've made, we'll just go with Nintendo.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because they're there from the beginning. You had the NES jumping to the Super Nintendo. That was a massive jump. Okay. SNES to N64. Insane. Okay. And then you had the introduction of 3D games. N64 to GameCube. And 128-bit. Okay. Going from GameCube, like every generation thus far has felt justified in some way.
Yeah.
There's been some kind of massive jump up. I feel like we're at the point where we are so close to realism that a jump up isn't really justified yet.
I mean, I don't... I think in terms of the last generation of consoles, they... Like, the last... Like, PS4 Pro is a jet engine whenever it runs. It's so loud.
No, that's true.
And it does struggle to run things at just 30 FPS. I don't necessarily think this generation is going to be like a dramatic leap in visual fidelity so much as it's going to be
marginally better and run a lot better.
Yes, I think we're going to get like 60 FPS. I think is going to be the standard. And I think that they've just said basically up through this point that they're shooting for 4K 60.
Yeah.
And if those games don't look if the new games don't look like a lot better than the old games, but they run at 4K, native 4K at 60 FPS, I won't care. That's all I want. I just want something like, I just got a 4K TV not long ago. I still don't have a game console that can even use it really that well.
I'm really interested in I'm really interested to see what Gorilla does with it with Horizon.
Yeah.
Horizon 2.
I know. Well, yeah, and they're supposed to... I mean, it's an open secret that it exists already,
Right.
So it's only a matter of time before we get to see it, which will kind of lead into our next thing.
Super excited. Oh, so which one do you want me to jump into?
So we're going to go to the Xbox Series X to launch as expected, according to Phil Spencer. But he says game production is the bigger unknown.
All right. You're going to have to bear with me because my computer, something with the internet is taking forever to load everything. So,
I mean, I can do it. It's fine.
You take this one then.
Okay. Okay, so this one is also from IGN. It's from Joe Scrubbles. Scrubbles. Joe, do you scribble? Or are you scrubble?
I scrubble.
You should draw inside the lines, Joe.
Hey, no. It loaded, but it's going way slow. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because you got Warzone re-downloading on your computer over there.
Possibly. It's done now, though. So head of Xbox Phil Spencer has reiterated that Xbox Series X isn't currently looking at any kind of launch delay, saying it is in line with where we thought we would be, but has said that production of games themselves is the bigger unknown amid the COVID-19 outbreak. So apparently he was on CNBC's Squawk Alley, and it says Spencer made clear that the Xbox hardware development was continuing at a somewhat expected pace. The teams are going, he said, doing a really good job on keeping our hardware on track. On the hardware side, we feel good about our plans. There's obviously some impact to schedules, but overall, I think we're in line with where we thought we would be.
Are they going a really good job, Evan?
They're going a really good job, guys.
This actually surprises me with everything that's going on. How is it that How is it that Sony's having such a hard time with hardware and getting things manufactured and all? Like, it seems like Sony is going to struggle to get anything done, but so far Microsoft is showing no signs of having any trouble with any of this.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that like Microsoft is just a larger company.
I think they're just hiding it. I think Sony's just having a hard time hiding the PR, and
that could be true too. Yeah, I mean, like maybe Sony's had a pretty tough time with its messaging over the last couple of years, and I think that that's really starting to like have people ask a lot of questions about like what's going to happen next generation with them, because they don't really have like a united front on a lot of this stuff, and Xbox has been, getting the message out clearly, succinctly, and drip feeding people little bits of information to keep them excited and stuff like that.
At this rate, I am actually, as I've already admitted, I'm a Sony fanboy. I got converted back in the PS3 days because I used to be a Nintendo fanboy. Mm-hmm. At this point, I'm slowly starting to be converted. If Microsoft can keep up what they got going, mm-hmm. I may have to jump ship again.
Yeah, I like to take it every generation at a time. Where
I agree.
I had a 360, and then I moved to PS4 because it just seemed like not only was it cheaper, but Xbox launched with no game trading, and I had to have a Kinect, and I didn't want to connect. It just seemed like I was paying for a thing that I wasn't going to use ever.
Right.
So I went with the PS4, and they had better launch games too. But I don't really have any loyalty to a specific brand. Like whatever comes out that is
because when I say fanboy, I mean it in very loose terms. Obviously,
yeah.
I will always have a special place in my heart for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that I'm a Sony fanboy, I mean the last 2 generations they've managed to keep me from really being invested in anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not because they've been making good calls.
No, yeah, for sure. I just think that they've had a fantastic game library.
Yeah.
Really. And that's kind of, they're going to need to keep doing that. That's what Sony's known for, is their first party titles. And that's what Xbox is not known for right now. Their biggest, first party titles have been like State of Decay and Crackdown 2, which was reviewed terribly. It was Crackdown 3, which reviewed terribly. and Sea of Thieves, which is also available on PC, but it's like, it's not like during the 360 days where they were dropping, new awesome Halo games, and Gears of War had just come out, and they need to get back on the ball in terms of first party games.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They are lacking in that department, and that's where Sony has managed to keep me tied down. If Microsoft can, they need to pull a rabbit out of the hat, really, because while they're on top of the ball right now, with the way things stand, it's not going to stay that way. Well, Sony will catch up. Mm-hmm. You need to strike while the iron's hot right now. You need to announce not a bunch, but you need to announce some high quality first person right now.
Yeah, some high quality first party games is going to be key, and they definitely went out and acquired a bunch of teams to make them first party games. And the interesting thing to me is that they're all new studios that don't really have like huge established franchises. I mean, they do, but
like who?
The thing that PS4 did was they not only did they make like good games from games that they already had franchises for, such as like Infamous and Killzone, but they came out with a bunch of new awesome IPs as well, like Bloodborne. Spider-Man's not necessarily a new IP, but it had been years and years before we'd seen like a good Spider-Man game. And they did give you, another God of War, but they completely changed what God of War was for this game. And so they've been able to give you either new IPs or reinventions of old ones, which is cool. And I think that all that Xbox has really had has been like, here's another Gears game, here's another Halo game. And I really think they need to come out with some new IPs that are interesting, that get people excited.
Definitely. What studios have they brought in?
Man, we talked about them, I think, on a previous episode. I forget. But they brought in the Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice
that could
developers.
Be
interesting. Yeah, but then they're making a sequel to that game. So.
Well, maybe they'll make it exclusive.
Oh, I mean, it is definitely going to be exclusive.
Well, there you go. That's good. That's a step in the right direction, because
they're definitely making the steps. Yeah, for sure.
Already that sets a hook for me, because that game was awesome.
Yeah. I need to see it. I need to see them.
They need to start. That's what I'm saying. They need to start making announcements now. You have my attention.
Yeah,
you are way more on top.
I'm already real curious about your box. Now I need to see what's underneath.
Microsoft is doing a better job right now of staying on top of messaging, keeping me interested.
Mm-hmm. But they still need the games to back it up.
Say, here's what games you can look forward to in the upcoming months.
Right. Well, okay. So, Spencer went on to say later in the interview with CNBC, he said, "I'd say the bigger unknown is probably the game production. Just being honest, game production is a large-scale entertainment activity now. You have hundreds of people coming together, building assets, working through creative." He continued, "We're learning every day. I still feel good about it, but I also need to make sure that the security and safety of the teams is the more important thing, and not dually push when things just aren't ready."
Sorry.
That's okay. So basically, to me, that whole quote seems to suggest that he's kind of hedging a bit, saying like, we're looking forward to showing you our new games, but also maybe they won't be releasing as soon as we would hope because of COVID, where everybody's working remotely, so it's harder for them to really collaborate as quickly as they would if they were all under the same roof. So that might affect the production of some of these games and stuff. And I would imagine if there were games that were supposed to be launching, with the launch of Series X in the holiday, that they're fairly far into it, but they're, this probably hit at a very crucial time for a lot of these studios.
This is when you start running into those crunch moments where everyone's trying to scramble to make it come together,
squashing bugs,
and you cannot meet up in person. I have to imagine, it's a very like no matter how far you've come, this is when you need to be together fixing it the most.
Yeah.
And that's pretty detrimental, I'd have to say.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems as though he's trying to hedge his bets a little bit, saying like, yeah, we're definitely going to get the console out, and we hope to get these games out, but and you know, I really don't see a problem with it. Like, I'm looking forward to these new consoles, but if the launch lineups aren't that great and I have to wait a little while, I'm not really gonna mind too much, you know. I still have so much stuff that I need to play anyways. Like, you know, you've got FF7 to play. I got to play like Jedi Fallen Order. Like,
it's really convenient for these companies that they were planning anyway to release to previous generation. Like the both companies seem to have already been on the same page that we're going to release for the previous console and the future console, and that's not anything new.
Well, okay, so Xbox has 100% said that that's what they're going to do. I don't. Sony hasn't said that yet.
But
so, like, you know, first party games with Sony, we don't know. Like, we know that Assassin's Creed will be a cross gen game, but we don't know. You know, if Sony comes out with a first-party title for launch with the PS5, we don't know if it'll be a PS4 title too.
Even if they don't, you know that with PS5, you're gonna get an offer to trade in your PS4, and you're gonna get so much off of a PS5, which is backwards compatible. Hopefully. Anyway.
I mean, whenever I would trade in my consoles before, guess where I would go? GameStop. Guess who might not even be open in the fall? GameStop.
Yeah,
So who knows, you know?
GameStop may just die. It's looking pretty bad.
Yeah. So by the time we reach holidays time, and like we said before, if they make it to holiday time, they can look forward to some pretty decent sales. It's definitely not going to be enough to stave off them completely going bankrupt eventually, but
I feel like there is still a place in the world for GameStop. They need to figure out what the hell they're doing wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Fix it. All right. Should we jump ahead?
Yeah. So I guess this didn't
Should we
work,
get into The Last of Us 2? Because that kind of ties into we were talking about release dates.
Yeah, let's pop over to that.
If I can, I want to read this one, but my computer is just being a pain in the butt. So please just bear with me a moment.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Because okay, The Last of Us Part 2 Ghost of Tsushima get new summer release dates. This is an article from IGN, and this is also by Scribbles. Scribbles,
you're doing great work over there at IGN.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. All right. After being delayed indefinitely, The Last of Us Part 2 will be released on June. I think I just jumped ahead. I'm sorry. Naughty Dog has released a message from its official social media account addressing The Last of Us Part 2 leaks, as well as new June 19th release date. So this is an update. I'm sorry. So this is going to also include what we were going to mention next, and that's the... So there was a leaker. So I'll just read this. In a short tweet, Naughty Dog writes, "We know the last few days have been incredibly difficult for you. We feel the same. It's disappointing to see the release and sharing of pre-release footage from development. Do your best to avoid spoilers, and we ask that you don't spoil it for others. The Last of Us Part 2 will be in your hands soon. No matter what you see or hear, the final experience will be worth it." So, actually, we meant to talk about the release date first, but why don't we jump into this first because of the update being there? I kind of fudged that.
That's okay.
I've managed to avoid any kind of spoiler, but it is always really frustrating when things like this happen. This certainly isn't the first time. I'm the kind of person that when like spoilers are given to me when I'm like watching a movie or something, that actually doesn't really bother me that much. Because there's always exceptions to the rule. There are movies that once you know the ending, it ruins it.
Yeah.
For sure. But most of the time, if you tell me the ending, it doesn't matter because I want to know how you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still invested in the story.
Well, I think there's a difference between ruining the ending and then like what apparently this leaker did, where he like ruined story beats throughout the game.
And that's rough.
Yeah. So, anything that would happen with like Ellie and her girlfriend or Ellie and Joel, anything that would ruin that. Because like that's one of my big questions about this game is like, what happens to her girlfriend that causes her to want to do this revenge, this whole revenge trip? What happens? What's Joel's role? Does he survive? Like, is he a ghost in this? Is he like a vision that she sees? Is he alive or what? So I'm pretty sure that these leaks have spoiled those things, and I would just be completely bummed if I came across that and had the game ruined for me, because I'm really, really looking forward to this game.
So
it's like
me too.
One of the biggest game releases of this generation, if not the biggest.
With my experience from the original game, I am definitely looking forward to this game. This is probably one of the biggest games this year, at least just in terms of hype. Having spoilers put out there, that's really lame. It really sucks.
It's not just lame for the fans; it's lame for all the people that worked on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Like if you put, and we read, about the culture of crunch at Naughty Dog and at Rockstar. If you're somebody that like made it through 5-6 years of development, and you put like everything that you have into this game, and you worked 80-hour weeks or whatever to get this damn thing out the door, only for some turd to leak this online and completely ruin it for people.
And that's the other thing. Have you heard anything about who this might have been? Because it's all been really cryptic. Everything that I've seen has been like, oh, we know who did it, but it wasn't a disgruntled employee or whatever.
Yeah, so initially I think there was a Reddit post that basically said, this was all because a disgruntled employee got upset because they were due a bonus that Sony wouldn't grant them, and the producers at Naughty Dog got the bonuses and they didn't, basically, and so they were pissed, so they decided to leak the game. But since then, that's been basically debunked. Sony actually came out and, according to this, I have it pulled up here from this Kotaku article from Ethan Gack. It says, SIE identified the primary individuals responsible for the unauthorized release of The Last of Us 2 assets. They are not affiliated with Naughty Dog or SIE. It said it's... Yeah. So apparently they're not related to the developer at all, or but the thing is like the way that they say it, they are not affiliated with Naughty Dog or SIE. So I don't know if that means that necessarily somebody that worked on the game didn't leak it, or if it was somebody that doesn't actually work at Naughty Dog or Sony Interactive Entertainment. Well, it could be, as others have pointed out, it could be a contractor. That was like an outside contractor that's hired to work on these kind of games, because it's not just it's these big games like this. It's not just Naughty Dog and that works on the games. They hire contractors to come in and do art assets and animation work and all kinds of stuff. They don't have the staff to make one of these games on staff at all times, so they go out and they'll bump up the size of their staff and they'll hire these people on as they go on. And the production ramps up, and the team will get bloated So it's not a complete disavowal that it was somebody that actually worked on the game that did it, but according to Sony, it's somebody that's not affiliated with Naughty Dog or SIE.
So I did forget. I actually did read a tweet this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Something Jason. Holy crap!
Jason Schreier. We're both having some trouble talking today.
I've had a lot of this, so a little more. I read a tweet this morning by Jason Schreier.
If you do, we're going to be here for hours if you have to talk that way for the rest of the time.
Anyway, it basically said, so I'm not going to be able to find the exact tweet, but it went something along the lines, hackers found a security vulnerability in a patch for an older ND game, Naughty Dog, and used it to get access to ND servers. Rumors of this being an act of protest by a contractor whose pay was robbed are not true. Naughty Dog actually extended pay and healthcare benefits for contractors due to the beer virus.
Okay.
And everything but beer virus are direct quotes from Schreier.
Okay.
So
we kind of know that it wasn't.
It was outside.
Okay. So apparently there was a security vulnerability that somebody found and got the game.
What an asshole.
But some of the footage that they put out seemed like the guy had been playing it for quite a while. You know, like it was definitely somebody. It wasn't like somebody just found it and got it and started playing it. Like it seemed like maybe they had it for a while.
It could be possible that they had exploited, if they found their way into the servers
yeah,
for a long enough time undetected, they could have. Perhaps.
They could have just found an old build and been playing it and then decided to upload it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's speculation at this point, but
right.
I mean, if I was a jerk that gained access to some servers I wasn't supposed to be on, I wouldn't make myself known immediately.
Well, it's just, this person's going to be sued till they're dead.
Oh, they're
no,
going to be.
Like, I don't know why you would do this. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Naughty Dog. Just obliterate them. Okay, so to get back to where we were supposed to go, but there was an update that I read by accident instead. It does look like, despite last week, we just announced that it was 2 weeks ago, there was indefinite delays. Just 2 weeks later, we now know release dates for both The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima.
This is something that I didn't think was going to be rectified for at least a little while. I didn't think that they would come back with a new release date so quickly.
Yeah, I thought we were going to wait till the fall just to get a release date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is very exciting. This says, after being delayed indefinitely, The Last of Us Part 2 will be released on June 19th, with Ghost of Tsushima pushed back to July 17th. Announcing the news on the PlayStation blog, Sony Interactive Entertainment head of Worldwide Studios Herman Holst said he wants to personally congratulate and thank both the teams at Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch Productions on their achievements. As we know, it's not an easy feat to reach the finish line under these circumstances. Both teams have worked hard to deliver world-class experiences, and we can't wait to see what you think of them when they release in just a few short months. I think that's sufficient.
Yes.
So initially, The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima were actually supposed to launch within like a week of each other, which I think wouldn't have done either game any justice.
No, yeah, I think this is good. I think that you want to get... For me, I think it's really weird that they're going to put Last of Us 2 out first, I think, because I think that you would want the new IP that isn't the known the known quantity kind of thing to get out before to kind of, because like if you play The Last of Us 2 and then you go into Ghost of Tsushima, I think there's a chance that you could be, entirely too high on The Last of Us 2 and potentially be let down by Ghost of Tsushima. But I don't know. Again, like there hasn't been a whole lot of either game shown, really, and they're coming out super soon.
I personally, from what I've seen of The Last of Us Part 2, I really haven't seen that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I have managed to avoid spoilers. I watched the trailer for Ghost of Tsushima, and I had paid no attention to this game until like 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I kept hearing about this and hearing about it, and I just was like, what are these people talking about? But I never got enough interest to actually look, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's in that boat, which doesn't bode very well for the game. But after having watched the trailer for it, I am way more interested in seeing what this can do.
Yeah, it's just really strange for me because, we talked earlier about the difference that it seems that Microsoft has a lot more of a better messaging going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's just strange to me that you have this Ghost of Tsushima game coming out that looks great and you're just not talking about it.
Yeah.
You're barely talking.
Like, it's weird.
Why are there not ads for The Last of Us Part 2 up yet? Why are there not ads for Ghost of Tsushima up yet? I mean, maybe I get it, because maybe they didn't want to show it because they don't have a release date. But you don't have to put a release date at the end of these ads. You can just say coming soon or whatever, and to get people excited about it. But so far, I've seen like absolutely nothing for Ghost of Tsushima outside of maybe 2 trailers that they've put out, and they've been talking about this game for years.
Oh yeah.
I want to see gameplay. I want to see.
Despite that, I'm still more looking forward to that game than The Last of Us.
I mean, what I've seen from it looks really good, but if you're going to put this game out after The Last of Us Part 2, which is arguably one of the most anticipated games of the generation, it seems like you're going to bury it behind this game.
Probably one of the most, I'm going to be really, really freaking bold here. Probably one of the most anticipated games in a century. Not century, I'm sorry. Decade. I meant decade. Century.
Of this century, sure. Yeah, it just seems, I don't know. It really seems like they could have done a better job getting people excited for these games. I mean,
yes,
I should be more excited for The Last of Us Part 2 than I am.
Oh yeah.
I don't even to me, I like to go into it like, even if I don't know, and it's not like I haven't gone into a game like excited and been let down, but I'm not even like that excited. I know that it's going to be, I know that I'm going to want to play it, but having so little information on it just doesn't get me that pumped about it,
Do you think some of that could be mitigation tactics? So it could be that they know that it's so anticipated that they're afraid that it'll get overhyped and then fail because people expect too much.
I don't know. I mean, it's like anytime you put something out and you don't talk about it a bunch, then to me that signals that you're a little unsure about it.
I really feel like if that was the case, that they would be pumping Ghosts so much harder.
Well, like look at what they did with God of War. Whenever God of War and Spider-Man were coming out, you got nothing but ads for those. I'd see them on TV all the time. I saw nothing but ads online. They really did a good job with the marketing of those 2 games. And it seems like such a stark comparison between those 2 games and these 2 games where
Do you think Sony doesn't believe in them?
I mean, I don't know. I'll have to I don't want to speculate like that because I don't want to say that they're, afraid that these games aren't going to be very good and that they're trying to, I don't know.
What else are you left to believe? This is why Sony needs to get on a ball. What other thing can you ask but that?
Well, again, with the messaging thing, if you've got articles coming out saying, how things have been rough at the studio and that people are leaving, like longtime people are just done. It does, like, alongside the lack of news and then the changing of like all these release dates and stuff, it just doesn't paint a great picture. And I feel like Sony has to be more reactive and realize, holistically, like, what does our marketing look like for these games? And you have to be able to like adapt quickly. So if an article comes out telling, the whole world, hey, like the development at this studio that's making this massively hyped game that everybody wants to play has been rough, you got to do something to mitigate it at least. And they just haven't said anything about it. And
radio silence is not good.
Yeah, at some point, like, radio silence can be good, but
not right
for the
now.
most part, no, it doesn't. It's not giving me a whole lot of confidence in the games.
No. It's unsettling.
Like, based on what I've seen, they look good, but the unwillingness to be, when you have a good product, you want to get it out there and you want to hype it. That's just the nature of hype. That's what every company does with everything.
You can find us on Facebook and
at Nonsensory on Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you've got a good product, you want to show that you have confidence in it. You want to show it to people so that so that they feel like that you've got a solid product, so that they get excited.
Right.
And with this, it's just been, I don't know. I feel like Sony has dropped the ball and they could have done more. So the next thing in this bizarre world of video games that we have to talk about. So apparently there was a Fortnite x Travis Scott concert. Do you know who Travis Scott is?
I don't.
Neither do I. But I guess he's a rapper that's really popular with the kids. And there was
never ever heard of him before.
Well, apparently at least 12 million people have heard of him before, because more than 12 million people attended the Travis Scott Fortnite concert, which I guess it was just as is said, the guy had a performance inside the game and then people just showed up and watched it.
Does this mean we're old?
Yes, this absolutely means that we're old. A, because I don't know who Travis Scott is,
yeah.
And B, because I could never see myself like going to watch a concert of like a cartoon version of a person.
Okay.
in a video game.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Until about 2 months ago, I could have never seen watching online esports. I never thought that was going to be a thing I did, and then I found myself watching what is it, Star Ocean? A Star Ocean tournament, and just being like, this is so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. I watch some games when they get streamed or whatever, but I'm not going to go in to watch a rapper in a game. But I guess this is all part of like, and this will tie into another piece of news that we have just specifically about Fortnite. It all seems as though Epic is trying to take Fortnite and turn it into, like, they see that they have kids playing it.
Who likes Fortnite? We like Fortnite. 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 We like Fortnite.
They see they have this wide swath of people playing it, and they want to take advantage of the popularity to make it something more than just a game. Because as we see, even games in like the battle royale genre are iterating on each other and taking popularity from each other, and eventually Fortnite won't be as big as Fortnite is right now. But if they can transform it into something that's beyond just being a battle royale game,
I think that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to stay ahead of the loop, because eventually they won't be at the top.
right?
But if they keep trying to stay in it, if they keep innovating in the way that they have been, they will, because they'll be offering other things. So we'll get there. I'm just going to read the article here. This is from The Verge. The Verge. All right. Travis Scott's first virtual performance wasn't just spectacular, it also broke a record. This evening, developer Epic Games revealed that the concert, which took place inside of Fortnite, saw 12.3 million concurrent players participate. That's insane.
Concurrent. That's incredible.
Like we were talking about earlier, like what does their server farm have to look like?
Oh, I know. It's got to be like an entire city block or some shit.
It's got to be huge. What does the AC unit look like that keeps that thing cold?
My ex's heart.
Got him! Got him!
The developer says this is an all-time record for the Battle Royale game. The previous record holder was last year's Marshmallow concert. I didn't know that so this isn't the first time they've done this.
No, this is the second time. Yeah, where they...
Who the hell is Marshmallow?
Some EDM DJ.
Okay. Wait, actually, I have heard of him.
He looks like his name is Marshmallow because he looks like a marshmallow.
Yeah, no.
It's really deep stuff. It's very interesting to me because, like I was saying, you have to try to keep people around in these games and deliver something new that these other games aren't doing. And it's a lot like where esports people, like Fortnite got big because not just because it's free and not just because it's fun, but also because of streamers and esports people.
It's very streamable.
And once those people move on to the next big thing, then you're going to take a big hit in the amount of people that are playing your game just for your game, right? So if you can provide them with something else that keeps them coming back, that's a way to try to keep that community around. And I think stuff like this, where you make it more so like, hey, this is a game, but this is also a place that we hold events in.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like what makes Warzone special in the way that the reason we've gotten sucked in is because that Infinity Ward has found a way to incorporate things that they've always had traditionally. So they've managed to keep the staples of the franchise, your customized loadouts, your kill streaks, all the stuff that they've managed to roll it into the game, and they've made it more frantic. Okay, so your engagements are more frequent throughout. Then, so I feel like every battle royale has consistently had like improvements and then tweaks.
Yeah.
And so Warzone is just the latest iteration of that. They're like, okay, Infinity Ward said we can jump in here and we can offer these improvements. And we can make it our own. And because they're already coming off of the Call of Duty, what would you call it? That, they're bringing in all that fan base.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
And now Fortnite is saying, okay, we can't compete with that. That's what I feel like it is. And they're saying, but we can if we don't focus solely on that. What we can do is bring a community.
Well, yeah, and again, I know that everybody and their mother plays Call of Duty, but I think that they appeal to two different audiences,
My mother definitely plays Call of Duty.
Your mom plays Call of Duty with me all the time.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah. Dude, come on, man. Maybe we should listen to this. I don't know.
No, my mom probably won't, but if she does, I'm so sorry. It was just a joke.
It's just, also, it's weird. It's really weird because, Travis Scott is a rapper, and so I assume that he probably raps about some unsavory things, probably, curses and all this kind of stuff, and you've got,
6-year-olds,
8-year-olds playing this game. It's just really weird to me that this would I can get Marshmallow, who's just this parody weird,
and it's EDM.
kooky,
I mean, how much do they really talk?
Right? Yeah, you can see a kid doing those stupid Fortnite dances or whatever to some EDM or whatever, but I don't see any kid just sitting there vibing with Travis Scott yeah, spit it, Travis. I know what you're saying. I just don't.
It is rough and
so it's
Travis.
It's really weird, but at the same time, again, we're talking about the massive audience that this game has, where okay, maybe you have a show for more tailored towards kids, but then, if you want to have something more tailored towards adults, you can too, because everybody plays this game. I also think that it's interesting that it kind of falls in with this other piece of news. This is also from IGN by Matt Purslow. And it says, Fortnite data mine suggests non-combat event is on the way. Listen, guy, doing a lot of talking.
Refresh yourself, fool.
I'm also trying not to have to go take a pee break.
Oh, fair enough. I'm headed there real fast.
So, a new Fortnite data mine has unearthed a new map and what appears to be a limited time mode in which players simply hang out and don't fight each other. Prolific Fortnite leaker Twitter account Shinba BR has posted several tweets, one of which includes a look at the new map. Shinba! Everything before you, son, will be yours one day. One of which includes a look at the new map called Papaya, as well as a series of 9 communication emotes that are reportedly designed for the new map. These emotes include the likes of nodding and shaking your head, waving, sitting, cheering, and waving a phone. All very much non-combat gestures.
Are you threatened?
Yeah. I'm going to rocket launch you in the mouth. The Papaya map image features a variety of location icons that all suggest non-violent activities such as races, skydiving, soccer, and boating, which may mean there are things available to do in Party Royale mode. It's unclear if Operation Payload is a non-violent mode or not, but the description suggests it could favor tech over weapons. So this is interesting because, you can go and play GTA 5 online and not kill anybody either. If you wanted to, you could just go chill in GTA, and people do that too. They join role play servers and they just kind of hang out with their friends and don't just mow people down and grief each other and stuff. So I think that it's pretty cool. I think that it's pretty cool that they're giving people just a mode to just go in and use it, use Fortnite almost like Zoom, how people are just Skype calling each other and just hanging out in groups and just, if you joined a Discord server or something like that and you just hung out on this Discord server and you just BS with your friends. It's just a place to go chill. And I think that's really cool. It's like the mall in the 80s, but for, 2020s people now, I guess.
You heard it here first. Fortnite is like a mall in the 80s.
Fortnite is like a mall in the 80s, but in the 2020s. So, I think this is really cool. And again, I also think that it plays back towards making Fortnite more a platform than it is a game.
That's what I was saying. It's like Fortnite saying, yeah, you can. We can't compete you with.
We can't compete you with this.
We can't compete with Infinity Ward when it comes to a first person multiplayer shooter. Okay, but we have a community. We can build a community, and I mean, this is smart. I think it's if done right, it could be fun. It's not. I mean, Fortnite's not my thing, but
so how long do you think before? We talked a couple weeks ago about how there's going to be no E3 this year, and what happens to E3 moving forward.
Are they going to do Fortnite E3?
I mean, think about that.
That could be cool.
If they're saying if 12.3 million people logged on to watch Travis Scott,
they could do it.
Imagine if they said, you know what, we're going to make a map in Fortnite where you can just and each location is a different booth for a different developer or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can just go there and watch their trailers and hang out and go and talk with your friends.
You just blew my mind.
You
tickled my mind.
If imagine if I was oh, hey bud, and we're in the game and I'm hey, I just went to the Sony booth. Did you check this out? And we're in the game just yeah, come on, let's go check out this booth. And then we run over to the booth and we'd watch the trailer and we're isn't that great? And stuff. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
That is brilliant.
I mean, it's a game show to showcase games, and what better way to showcase a game show than in a game?
Dreams.
Oh yeah, somebody could do that too. See, that would be weird too. I mean, that would take a lot of effort.
Oh man,
you'd need to have have the ESA partner with Epic so that Epic was the exclusive partner of doing this, so that way that, because you'd need somebody experienced that has the money to do something like that, but you'd also need to gain that money back some way, because if
you'd have to have like virtual tickets,
or
something like something.
Yeah, that's a great idea, like virtual tickets, or I mean, like people are still going to like log in and be on the game. Like, what did people get from this Travis Scott concert?
What? Well,
granted, they didn't probably have to pay too much for this Travis Scott concert or whatever, but
even if you just made
all they got out of it was views. Is my point. Like people just logged in and watched it and then left. They didn't gain money from it other than people playing their game.
Even if you just make it so that purchasing a ticket, you get like a skin or something.
Right.
People will go for that.
It's not
and
just...
then you still have attendance.
Yeah, that's a good point. See, Epic, ESA, hit me up. I got plans.
Yo.
Y'all heard it first. I'm here for you.
nonsensorypod@gmail.com. Hit us up.
All right. So the last bit of news that we have today is this another article from IGN by Matt Kim. Which one was it? Was it Matt or was it Kim? Or was it Matt and Kim?
Okay, so I've got this pulled up.
Okay, cool. I'll let Joe read it over for you and hit it, Joe.
Kim, Matt. Anyway, Battlefield 5 will no longer receive major content expansion.
Expansion. Battlefield 5 will no longer receive major content expansions.
We're walking a fine line there.
Look, I'm not making fun of anyone, okay?
You're going all
I'm making fun of you and your voice.
Battlefield Mastiff.
I should do that every time one of us flubs. It's just like a dog. Just
Battlefield 5 will no longer receive major content expansions following a new update scheduled for June, according to the game's official Twitter account. In a new blog post, developer EA DICE announced DICE and EA are together?
DICE is owned by EA, yeah.
I'm an idiot. Has it always been that way?
It's okay, Joe.
How long has that been?
I still picked you anyways. It's been that way, I think, since Battlefield 3.
Wow, I'm out of the loop. Why did you pick me to do this show?
It's okay. You? I wanted to educate you, and I'm just fucking regretting it so much. I'm going to find this out right now.
EA DICE announced that there will be a new update this summer following the conclusion of its current chapter, Into the Jungle, which was themed around the Pacific Theater. That sounds awesome.
Dude, they bought DICE in 2006.
Wow, I'm sad. That's forever ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't remember it. It's because it's just always been that way.
We're both just dumb.
Okay. The chapter is set to end on April 29th. So the tweet says...
It's right here.
Wait, let me...
Hang on, it's right here.
Hold on. Okay, I hope that I understand this right. You say that the game won't be expanded at all after summer. The game will receive no new maps, weapons, factions after that. That was Connor at T4 Voss. Correct, and we'll have more details about what's included in the summer update closer to that time. The summer update won't be a Chapter 7 expansion, but will instead be a standalone update with some new content, weapons, and game tweaks. After that, Battlefield 5 will be supported with new weekly missions, but otherwise have no further content planned before our updates to community games and ensuring healthy game performance. So, bottom line, it sounds like Battlefield 5 it's kaput.
Yeah, and I mean... It's been out for a while, granted. But at the same time, Battlefield has always been, well, not always, but before Warzone, I would say there was a point, before Warzone and the new Modern Warfare, there's been a point in time where people kind of started to get sick of Call of Duty, ragged on it for being formulaic, yada, yada. And with Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4... and Battlefield 1, EA and DICE started putting out a very competitive game to COD. I mean, COD still outsold them by a lot, but there was a question of like which is the better game and stuff like this, and Battlefield 5 has just been a huge letdown. Granted, I know I hate to reference this because, like we were talking earlier about the people that don't want to play Assassin's Creed because you can be a lady in it.
Right.
It's the same people that were like when EA released the trailer for Battlefield 5 and it was a story trailer, and the first character that they showed was like a woman with like a fake arm and like a racket club or something like that. And they're like, what is this? Like, women didn't fight on the front lines of World War II and blah, blah, blah. And everybody got up in arms about it, about historical accuracy and stuff. And then people wanted to like boycott the game. And so EA, trying to stand by their convictions and saying like, you people are so stupid. Like, why does this matter? They basically went out and said, don't buy it then. And granted, like, I agree with the sentiment of like, screw these people, they're stupid. I don't care if they don't buy the game. But at the same time, you came out and told people not to buy your game. And the game has had poor sales relative to other Battlefield games, especially relative to, the newer Call of Duty games. And this was the first Battlefield that actually came out after the Battle Royale craze, and they tried to get their own Battle Royale into the game that never really took off. So for the most part, I think people are taking this and them ending long-term support for just new content updates, as them basically taking the L and saying that, we didn't succeed very well in this game. We're going to come back and come at you with a different one.
I really don't have much to say about the Battlefield 5 thing.
Yeah.
From what you're saying, it sounds like they did it themselves. But I will throw in on the Assassin's Creed thing, because we did talk about it a little bit earlier, and I know we don't avoid these topics because we're afraid to touch on controversy. We just want to... We don't touch on these things because we're not trying to be like every other outlet right now and just be all politics. That's why we avoid these topics usually. But I'll say, as far as Assassin's Creed's going, they seem to be going... I personally feel like they're making the right call. You get a choice. If you want to be a woman, be a woman. What's wrong with that? Mm-hmm. Would I mind if they just came out and said, "Oh, it's just this is a story that is that has a woman as the main character"? I wouldn't care. It would be awesome. Mm-hmm. You should do it. But like you were saying, it would almost hurt them now after giving people choice. You take away that choice and make it you have to be this.
Right. That
would hurt too. So
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if you make a really well-crafted story that is like this woman being awesome, an awesome assassin in pick an era, World War II,
1950s.
Yeah. Suffragette.
Yeah, she's a suffragette assassin. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd be all about it. I really would. But to say if you don't like it, don't buy the game. You asked for it.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where I can appreciate the stance that they took, but also you have to know that when you put out a statement like "don't buy the game," it's going to be taken by people, and it's going to be shoved in everybody's face, and they're going to say EA doesn't want you to buy their game.
First of all, you already have enough trouble being EA.
Yeah. People already don't like EA enough.
You already have a history of not listening to your fans.
Mm-hmm.
And then to tell your fans, "Oh, don't buy the game." Really, you get what you get.
Yeah, for me, it's just like if you were going to make this statement, you knew that you were going to have to deal with trolls and people that didn't want to hear it. And I think that if you really wanted to stand behind your convictions in that way, then you have to realize that those people exist and that they're going to be a part of your audience, and then they're going to be people that were potentially going to pay and play your game, and now they're not. And so if your game underperforms and they're a significant portion of the audience, then you need to just take the L and deal with it and say that this was the sacrifice that you made for the point that you were trying to make.
I agree with that.
You know,
Sorry.
like I can completely agree with them saying, screw you guys. Like, who cares? Like, it's a video game. Like, why I've never understood people being like historical accuracy in video games and stuff. Like, it's, you know, people take creative license with like everything. So, you know, but it's in the wrong hands. If you make a statement such as what they did, it's going to be, you know, that people are going to, expand it into this bigger thing than it needs to be. And you have to know when you're making that statement that it could result in poor things. And you have to know, and knowing that if you're going to come out and say it, then to me, the if you don't know that there's a potential repercussion for that would result in poor sales or poor reception for your game, then I think you need to be okay with that. You know, I think you need to expect that to be a thing that could happen, and you need to figure it in as a result that you're okay with for the point that you're trying to make. And I mean, every Battlefield has been a very good game. They've all sold very well. I don't think this means like the end of Battlefield or something like that. I think it was just it was a less exciting entry than previous ones. A lot of what they were talked about was mostly about the single player content, which people, you know, like we talked about with the reaction to the woman and stuff, but also the battle royale component. And when the battle royale component just wasn't as good as Fortnite or PUBG, or wasn't able to,
or Apex Legends,
yeah, and especially when you've got, that's another weird thing. EA owns both Respawn and DICE.
Why compete with yourself?
And then they released Apex, which just completely cannibalizes the other battle royale experience that they're trying to make. It's just bizarre. That's another really weird thing is when Titanfall 2 didn't sell very well, people thought it was ridiculous that they put out Titanfall 2 in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty. And they told why is EA cannibalizing their own sales for Titanfall by releasing Battlefield like right before it? You know, and then they did the same thing to Battlefield 5 by putting out another battle royale at the like. Of course, they didn't know that Apex was going to be as big of a hit as it was.
Right.
But
right.
At the same time, it has been more popular as a battle royale experience than Battlefield 5. And when this one came out and you talked pretty much exclusively about single player or the battle royale experience, I just don't think it really worked out that well for them. But I think that DICE is a great developer and they will come back stronger and deliver a good Battlefield experience again with 6.
Okay. I'm going to jump way off in left field because you brought it up.
All right. Angels in the outfield. Let's go, baby.
I'm sorry. We do this every week.
It's okay.
But you brought up Titanfall.
Oh, I know. I hit your heartstrings with
Titanfall. Like that is Titanfall's my baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like every generation so far, which is only 2, but that they don't get the attention they deserve.
Right.
Titanfall 3. Okay. It's going to happen. It has to happen.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, it's Titanfall's way. I never think they get the attention they deserve, ever.
If it would go down, it would go down as one of the biggest disappointments. I think if Titanfall never got the fan base that it deserves.
Yeah, they just please Respawn. Please do not give up. Like, so long as it is in your control, keep going because you'll get there. But I beg you, do not try a battle royale. Stay the F out of it. Stay out. All right, that was my little bit.
So if they made a Titanfall 3, you would want a Titanfall 1, basically.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Innovate, do things. Don't just make a battle royale because everyone else is doing it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Take what you already have and continue to make it better. Because Titanfall's multiplayer is insane.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
It
is so good.
Keep making that. People will come.
In their pants. I will. If you release a Titanfall 3, I will come and buy it. I'll buy it, is what I'm trying to say. Purchase made. I'm pre-purchasing as we speak. Oh, man.
I'm so pre-purchasing.
I'm pre-purchasing. I'm pre-ordering right now. I can't even wait. I'm pre-ordering.
And we're done. Okay.
Yeah, on that note.
So, small break. So that's about it we have for gaming news?
Yeah, that's basically what we're at the end here for the gaming news. Hang on. I want to read you that. All right, so that's basically all we've got for gaming news today. Again, it was really good to get together with you, Joe, and talk a little bit about all these delays and everything, and hopefully next week we will have moved on beyond our Warzone. Well, maybe not moved on from our Warzone obsession, but maybe we're working some other stuff. Maybe we're working some different TV. Maybe we're working some different games.
Do you want to go movies?
No.
Real quick?
No. It's fine. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I threw off your groove. We'll cut this
It's
bit.
okay.
It just... Why? You don't want to just bring it up for like 5 minutes?
No.
It's not worth it?
No.
I don't think so either. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. So you're going to come back to me. I think that's it we have for games. And
Okay. So I think that's all we have for today.
yeah. It's been wonderful being being here on your couch. I think we both had we both got a couple pre-orders out of the deal.
At least one. I might have double pre-ordered there. I don't know.
Oh, good. Okay. With that, we're starting. We kind of started last week. I think we're going to stream every Tuesday at 7:30. We were kind of shooting for a 7, and I've found that I just don't have time to make it happen before 7:30. So,
Okay.
7:30 on Twitch. You can find me. I'm Kellogg the Killer 7, or I'm sorry. On Twitch, I'm Kellogg Killer 7, and your name is
Ramjam Hamdam.
Ram Jam Dam Ham Dam. Wait,
It's literally Ramjam Hamdam.
Okay,
But one of us will be on the Nonsensory Twitch page,
right.
regardless. So you can check us out on Twitch at Nonsensory.
Yep. Well, we stream every Tuesday at 7:30 now. So tune in. I think eventually we'll transition to something else, but we're stuck on Warzone at the
It'll
moment.
probably be Warzone this week. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll stream us watching something at some point. Who knows?
We'll branch out, but we're not done with this experience yet.
No.
So come along for the ride.
We need a couple more wins, at least.
We're probably jumping into that right now. So Evan, why don't you tell them where they can find us?
Oh yeah, so you can find us on our YouTube channel. You can also find us on iTunes and Spotify, and you can find us on Twitter at Nonsensory1 and Facebook at Nonsensory Podcast. And if you would like to come watch us play a little Warzone on Twitch, you can always find us at Nonsensory.
If you have any comments or suggestions, please email us at nonsensorypod@gmail.com.
Yes, and please, we really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, comment, click the bell so you can get notifications whenever we post new content. And also, subscribe on Twitch so you can get notifications whenever we go live. We're really trying to grow something special here. We really appreciate all of your support and your views and everything. We started to do this just as a thing for us to do. We're not trying to become the next Ninja or whatever. We're doing it for us, but your support really means a lot to us, and if you can help us out and maybe help us grow this into something, that'd be amazing as well.
I'd say we do it for us. We have fun doing it, but we appreciate anyone who also appreciates it.
Your appreciation is appreciated.
And with that, peace. Be easy.
Take it easy, guys. Love you.